facing units. This is the only item which carries intelligence, and this is the only item which will communicate while we are cruising. And on top of this, we have the Japanese. You see no solar array at all, at least not a deployable one, but you see the solar arrays here attached on all of the 8 corners. Those of you who are a little bit familiar with space business know what this means. This is a spinner. So as soon as we get rid of this, the MMO, this rotates with 4 rotations per minute. Yeah? This is the high gain antenna, which rotates then anti-clockwise. The cruise will take 7 years. So when we arrive, where we want to be there, I'm retired. Hopefully.
Me too.
This is the module where ESA carries the responsibility, is equipped with 11 instruments, and on Bepi Colombo will research on Mercury the surface of the planet, the interior, the exosphere, and also the magnetosphere. Apart from Earth, the smallest planet of our solar system is the only one with a magnetic field, and we do not know why. Yeah, this is something we would like to understand when we go there. This is why we have a lot of spectrometers with us. We have a laser altimeter with us. We have, when we start, 2 non-steerable low-gain antennas here and there, just attached to the radiator. I come to the radiator a bit later. This is the antenna, medium gain, steerable during cruise phase. This is one of the instruments, the magnetometer. And here on this side you see the high gain antenna. It's X and Ka band, with which we will communicate when we do the scientific mission. And this is the, as I said, the MMO carries 7 instruments. Will after departure be operated by Usuda station, while here we have, after launch, we have the control over the spacecraft from ESOC in Darmstadt for the cruise phase. And later on, when this has finally reached its orbit, the scientific mission will be taken over by a SAC in Madrid. Okay, so we launch in a so-called stack. That means you have to imagine, put it all together on top, stow of course all the mechanisms, and we have the launch configuration. Launch, 18th of October is where we calculate our readiness for. Yeah. And I received today also some information that after Arianes Plus has done some reshuffling on the launch manifest, we stay on the 18th of October as planned. Because you know we have AELUS, we have METOP-C, don't know if you have seen some of the items here. We have Galileo, and we have this American one I usually forget.
Other space, I guess.
Is it Horizon? Horizon
3E.
These are all launches for 2018. So it's really very dense packed. So we're happy to be there on the 18th of October. This radiator is the only side of the MPO which will not be heated. All the other sides, you see, they're covered in a silver shining thing. When we look in the clean room, we will see it a little better. All the surfaces have to withstand temperatures above 400 degrees. Yeah, and this 400 degrees is something which brings the materials to its limits. The mechanisms here, we had to, we had to redevelop even, because all the lubrication systems were good for 125 degrees. Something we smile about. I had the media day in Aztec, Netherlands, last year. Also a lot of journalists were there and say, come on, don't be too scientific, make it easier. Yeah, so I said, okay, we go in a pizza oven and make science there. Yeah? And this was, if you look now on the internet, I should have never said this sentence, so you find it everywhere. But in fact, it is the case. Yeah? When we go between Sun and Mercury, Mercury itself is a hot planet on the side which points just towards the Sun. Has an intense infrared radiation, and of course from the Sun we have 10 solar constants. Yeah, is enormous. So, and this is the only side which permanently had to look deep space. It's the only side which at the end raise the heat we collect from the other sides out of the spacecraft. Because we are not perfectly isolated, of course not. Yeah? And our instruments have to work inside this thing at room temperature, 25 degrees, 26 degrees, having the oven outside. So it's a challenge. I always wanted a bigger radiator. I had fierce fights with Ariane Spass, my friends here. But this is the biggest we can put in the Ariane 5. Fairing is just too small. So please develop something bigger for the
Ariane 6.
I don't know if the fairing is larger for Ariane 6, honestly.
It was just
A little bit.
diameter, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but this
Diameter is the same.
is the same?
Diameter
Okay.
is the same.
So, this is the biggest radiator we have. Of course, this is also has to be protected against the infrared radiation from the planet because our orbit, it's a polar orbit. We are very close to the surface. The closest point is just 420 kilometers, yeah, and the most distant is just 1100. So we fly over the poles and we map the complete surface of Mercury. But you see, we have no protection, we have no shadowed area, these things. We protect only ourselves by the surface. The MMO has a bit different orbit. Closest point is 1100. Oh, no, sorry, wrong. 1350 times 11,000. So by far more elliptical. They have easier rotations to get rid of the heat. But heat here for us is the challenge. And when we had the requirement to test this in Aztec, we had to simulate 10 solar constant. So we simulated this. We have really high energy lamps focused on various mirrors, and they were able to come back with a ray of 2.3 meters diameter, where we were able to realize 10 solar constant. This is the biggest in Europe, maybe the biggest in the world. It was an investment of several million euros to get there. And with this, we were just able to test individually the modules. So at the end, we did 3 thermal tests. We tested the stack mechanically, acoustic, vibration, all 3 axes, different levels, in order to simulate, of course, the launch. So we have done this all last year already in Aztec. What we do now is fundamentally a repetition of what we have done, because we could only transport in modules. It's clear. Those of you who know the Antonov, we had 4 of them. 4 Antonovs, 2 boats, to get this deployment rig, for example, transported. It was also logistically really a challenge, this project already. And so far the campaign runs fine. We are stable in our schedule for the 10th of October. Happy to report this. Coming to this structural element, this is we call it MOSIF. Please do not ask me what the abbreviation stands for. I don't know. This protects during the cruise phase the MMO against any kind of radiation, because the MMO is passive, but of course the solar array is active. And if it rays something and you have no user, it's not good for the battery. You see here, big solar array. Why do we need it? We have to produce high voltage. 13 kV we produce. 13 kV, what for? To ionize xenon. And while we are talking here, we have a hazardous operation at the moment here in the clean room, because we fill with xenon. And we fill up to a pressure of 75 bars, which is corresponds to the room temperature of 23 degrees in the clean room. And of course we have to make sure that the xenon does not get liquid. 17 degrees and the thing gets liquid and we have a problem. This is why we have to have a very active temperature control on this, that we do not get too cold but also not too warm, because then it gets also in a stage where we do not want to be. The solar array is steerable. Why is it steerable? If we go full speed, full angle against the sun, we die. Too warm. So we have a certain inclination, also the size, really to have sufficient power for the ion thrusters. And of course we will have some degradation over the years. So that means that we can then tilt a little bit more towards the sun. When I say towards the sun, when we launch, we go in the center of our solar system. That means we go to the element which has the highest gravity in our solar system. That means we would constantly accelerate naturally. This is why we need our thrusters to decelerate. So we brake continuously. Yeah. We use the thrusters over a period of several months, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Yeah. And this is the efficiency of the ion thrusters compared to the liquid thrusters, hydrogen, what is that, is significantly higher. We fuel 580 kilograms of xenon. 580. And the cost per kilogram is above 3,000 euro. It's enormous expensive. And why do we do this? Why do we use xenon? If somebody of you knows the answer, except you. I have a polo shirt for you. Okay. Why xenon? It's a noble gas, yes, very expensive. Why don't we take helium? Also noble gas, significantly cheaper. No, we use
you get a better ionization on xenon.
It's heavier. Specific impulse is better.
You are the right direction.
Okay.
Each atom of xenon weighs more than helium, and so when you accelerate it, you get more mass.
You get an XL volume. Yes. this is the noble gas with the highest atomic mass, not being radioactive. Yeah, and we want the highest atomic mass, of course, in order to have the highest efficiency. Don't forget,
Amisa, I should not be allowed to participate. So give it to one of my guests.
You get it, and you distribute it, okay?
Let's see who gets me
And
more beers tonight.
you are the first male on the screen. I only had 3 females in all the history who were able to answer this question. But congratulations. Excellent. Thank you. So, switching to the real hardware.